All right. Welcome back to another episode of The Journey. Today, we're joined by none other than Wyatt Lewis. Welcome to the show.
All right, good morning. Thank you.
So have you binged all the episodes? You're caught up now?
I binged to about 2 months ago, and then I was caught up since then. So, it's the first thing I look to Thursday afternoon on the way home is y'all have released it, I guess, about 10 or 11 o'clock. I turn it on Thursday afternoon on the way home, and I finish it Friday morning. So it's the first thing I look forward to Thursday afternoon, Friday morning.
Appointment listening is what we are for Wyatt.
Yes,
Journey.
absolutely. It's the end of the day and the beginning of the weekend.
That's fantastic. So I don't know if anybody else is that loyal, but I feel like other people just catch it when they catch it, and many people are behind, not looking at anybody particular, Steve, Kurt, Grant.
What particularly do you get out of it?
Listening to many podcasts, they have an agenda, or at least the podcasts I enjoy listening to. But for this, not that there's not an agenda. The agenda, I think, is to make the Lord known and to know the Lord. And hearing four friends, four coworkers talk openly about many subjects is refreshing. And almost to a sense, I feel like I'm there. Knowing all four and many of the guests that have been on, I feel like I have either experienced that with them or that I can experience it. So it's just something to look forward to, hanging out with a bunch of friends.
I like that. I think Wyatt's like right in the middle of our target audience.
So Wyatt sits down at the table every week, even though he's actually not at the table.
That's right.
That's good.
Right.
But today you are.
I'm actually here. Yeah, this
at
is
the table.
different. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people that are loyal 100% to the podcast. But Wyatt, I think you might be. And now this careful question because people get their feelings hurt. Like Brock says,
We're about to have
man church,
mutiny in the comment section. If we every time we bring somebody on, we call them the
well, no,
biggest fan.
Here's what I'm not calling him the biggest fan. I don't know all those details. I'm just thinking, out of everybody that I've heard, I think you listened and caught up and binged in a greater way than anybody else has. Like, it was impressive within the amount of time frame that you went from episode 1 to now. What are we at, 70 something? So you went.
I think this is 76, Neil.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
So with the binging, it was, I wake up Monday morning, go to work. I would listen Monday morning, Monday afternoon. I kept on going all the way through Monday.
What's your commute time?
It's about 45 minutes.
Oh, good.
So
okay.
Sometimes I'd get 45 minutes in the morning and I'd get 15 minutes in the afternoon, or sometimes vice versa.
Yeah. So you were basically listening to a podcast a day, one of the journeys a day.
Close to it. Yeah.
Wow.
That's impressive. I think that's what our other bingers have been trying to do as well. I know every time I see Ben Borchik, he'll catch me up on, okay, I've listened to X amount since I last saw you. And he'll tell me what we were talking about, and I'll just...
Yeah, that's the hardest thing. Wyatt for so long would come and talk to me when he was going through that, and I'd be like...
I don't remember saying that.
I don't remember. I can't remember what we talked about last week.
I know.
So,
It would be an interesting experience for the four of us, the main four, to go back and start on episode 1 and binge all the way through and see how much we've changed or not changed or are talking about the same things 2 years later.
Still frustrated.
Yeah. So what is your take on mine and Chase's struggle? Because apparently Auburn and Lance don't have any struggles in life, but at least spiritually. But Chase and I, we just keep going in the same circle. So what is your diagnosis?
So you said it'd be interesting for all four of y'all to sit down and start with episode 1 and go all the way through today. And I think that being able to do that, I've seen where all four of you not only just grown closer to each other and being able to have more of a fluid conversation, but you're also able to have an open conversation. And so I've watched or listened to y'all grow in the Lord as well and in the Bible. At the beginning, y'all were talking about what Bible to get, and the Scholar Bibles and a few others. What version? I believe you do the CSB.
Yeah.
I do Home and Christian Standard. And so there's many different versions out there with the same message, but I see where y'all have grown. And I think for you and Chase, not saying that this is the key, but I believe that it is a major key to many questions and problems that we have is to read the Bible and pray more. If I want to, so I've been deployed many times, and if I wanted to know what was going on at home, I would read the love letters that my wife would send me, and I'd call her up all the time, like, hey, listen, what's going on? How's life before kids? How's life while we have kids? And so to answer the spiritual struggle, I think the answer actually is to read the Bible and pray more.
And we kind of always say that in a way of like, read the Bible, pray more. But we always come back to the fact that there really is no better solution than to know God through his word and to commune with God, speaking to him and hearing from him. I mean, I don't know of a better way.
No.
I think the thing that happens is, again, the enemy tries to create this idea in our head, like, that's too simple, or like, there's got to be more. I mean, because, again, we live in such a world that there's always something next, or when you're trying to succeed, there's always a next level, in a lot of ways. And it seems like that's such entry level. Christianity is read your Bible and pray more. But it's like, and so the enemy gets your head thinking all that, and then the next thing you know, you're not reading your Bible or praying at all, and you're not anywhere where you need to be. So.
We're such a results-oriented society these days, and it's easy for people to think, oh, well, I prayed this morning and nothing happened, because that's how kind of how the world wires us, that we're expecting a result, and that's not really what it's about. We call this the journey for a reason. You're not always going to pray at 7 a.m. on a Monday and something amazing is going to happen at 7:17 a.m. And I think that may be part of why people roll their eyes when we always say, read your Bible and pray more.
Right. If you look at a track star, his job is to run. I mean, I know you have decathletes, is that how you say it? They do multiple events at the track, but yet a track star runs. His most basic training is to walk and run. He's been doing that since 2, possibly, earlier for some. So even in that, his result came many, many years later.
That's right.
But yet he did the most basic thing every day, or however often he trains.
Sure.
You a track star, Wyatt?
I used to run. I ran a lot, especially when deployed. Like, you're either going to watch TV, eat food, or run, and that's what I did. So I'm not sure. I think there was a tri-level there. I tried to keep them all in balance, but I did enjoy running. I haven't run in several years, but
Were you were Air Force, right?
yeah, I was.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
So family relationships is important, and so when my mother passed away, my grandmother raised me, and so from 9 until 18, I lived with her. But at 14, I was in a big argument with her, and I thought I'd get back at my my grandmother, and I say, you know what, I'm going to join the military. That's it. I'm done. I'm going to turn 18. I'm going to join the military. That's 4 years from now. Turned 18, and my family said, all right, you're 18. What are you going to do? So I walked to the recruiter station, and I joined the military. And I was a C-130 Loadmaster. So any cargo that was on that aircraft, I took care of, weight and balance, and any emergencies. And I did some airdrops every once in a while. So it was a great time.
Sorry.
You did that for how long?
I flew for 17 years, and then I had a injury, and so for the last 3 years, I did a little bit of leadership, and then I retired about 2 years ago.
What did you learn from your time there? The overarching lessons.
Some of the most overarching lessons was just slow down. Yeah. So for an emergency procedure, now I know that I didn't fly the aircraft, but I did have emergency procedures for when we do an airdrop. If your load gets caught up, it could have potential to either damage the aircraft or something else, or the cargo itself. And so you have split seconds to think about what your next step is. But yet, going back to what we were talking about earlier, is that basic training of studying the emergency procedures. If you study those constantly, you read the book constantly, you're going to know what to do when the time comes up. And so also that time I would tell my fellow Loadmasters, I say, hey, listen, we have an emergency, but you do have a microsecond to slow down and to think what's going on. So that's what I try to teach my boys at home is life's going to come at you. And when it does, take that microsecond to think what's going on around you. And for us in a Christian walk is take that microsecond and think what's going on around me that's going to help me to grow closer to the Lord. Because I think that anything and everything there can be used to grow closer to the Lord.
That's good.
When you say airdrop,
Right.
explain that to...
You're not talking about like sharing something with...
Yeah, so
Somebody
we would
else
fly
with an
over
iPhone.
Iraq and like pass out pictures like, hey, you need a picture of this. That's what we did. Apple
Here's me
stole
with
it
my
from
cat.
us. Yeah. No, so imagine as a 9-year-old boy, and every time I did this, I was thinking like, man, this is awesome. But imagine like as a 9-year-old boy, you sit in the back of your dad's truck, and he's like, all right, hold this trash. We got to throw it away. But what do? You throw the trash in the air. And so, and I'm not saying it's trash, but we would just go up to the sky, and at certain altitudes, we'd open up the back of the aircraft, and we'd push out. And so it's that same exhilarating excitement of being able to just throw something out of the back of the truck. And here I am getting paid several bucks to be able to just throw out several $1 million pieces of equipment and say, "Oh, I hope it lands." So,
but you did your job.
Oh yeah, I did my job. It's out of my hands now, but no. Part of my job was also to make sure that it was rigged correctly, and so. But yeah, I'd go up there, open up the door, I'd kick out people and things. And it was a lot of fun.
Man, and you're talking about like several tons equipment and things like that.
Several tons. So the largest piece that I've seen is so the cargo compartment was, I want to say 9 by 10, I can't remember, but it was 41 feet long. And we went and filled that up. It's about the size of a Connex. We went and filled that up completely, but the largest we saw was a boat about that size being kicked out. And you're up to, I believe, 42,000 pounds. It's been several years since I've studied, hence read your Bible, pray more. It's been several years since I've read our manual, but I believe it was 42,000 pounds is the most we can kick out.
That's something.
So are you guys like on some kind of intercom type system, and all of a sudden it's like now, like somebody else is telling you where to drop it or where to?
So the technology had gotten really cool.
Yeah.
By the time I retired, it was to the point where we could essentially somebody could say, "All right, you're going to drop here." I can't get into too many details that I know of, but we would take off, say, out of Dothan, and then they would say, "Hey, you're going to drop something in Montgomery." And so we would have to follow the directives. But a lot of times there would be a checklist. We'd run through the checklist, and at the right time, we'd be over target and kick it out.
And so how high are you? About 30,000 feet?
As low as 50 feet.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So I was fixing to say, if you wanted to drop something in the parking lot at City Hall, you could hit the right parking spot.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So there have been a few missions where they would try to kick out something equivalent to a Humvee and land it on a bridge, and they would get very close to it. So it's really cool, the technology that's there.
No wonder you had so much fun.
Oh, it was a blast. I hated it when I wasn't able to continue to fly.
Man.
Hey, they're still recruiting, so I mean, I see 3 able bodies here.
JOTR.
I don't think we have clearance for that.
Loadmaster edition.
I just think this is such an interesting topic to me because, like, we're on one hand, the advice of read your Bible and pray more is like very straightforward. But I'm also thinking about like the little bit I know about the United States military. I imagine everything is like systematized and checklisted and efficiency to the max. And so my hang up with that is, and I think Chase and I's problem has been, well, what is the correct checklist?
Right.
You know? So like I'm all on board with like, just find your checklist and go with it for the next 40 years of your walk with Christ. But I think my problem has been allowing myself to be distracted by other checklists, good checklists, and, you know, checklists from somebody else that I respect. And so, well, if this has worked for them, maybe it'll work for me. But then I get caught up in it's not working for me.
Well, yes, because read your Bible and pray more is not the be-all, end-all. You read your Bible and you pray more to implement what God has for you. And so there's action involved after the read your Bible and pray more. And I don't know about, maybe, I don't know if we've talked about this before, but maybe because your task that you have to perform is so behind the scenes and so individual, there may be some frustration there because the end result of read your Bible and pray more is so that you know God more, so that you can influence. You influence behind a keyboard most of the time. That is totally a very valid way to do it. But it may be because there's a human-to-human interaction that may be missing in that as well. I never thought about that, but thinking out loud.
Yeah, I think that it definitely has that. I mean, you don't, going back to result-based orient, I mean, like, you know, in your story there, I mean, you knew the result, and it was clear when that drop hit the target, or as close as you could. I mean, then that was the result. Mm-hmm. And I think in ministry in general, but in the Christian life, like the results aren't always X, Y, Z, right, or look a certain way. And in the ministry role, I mean, working here at the church, like it's hard to pinpoint results. I mean, even you taught yesterday, like you have no idea what the Lord did as you taught through that connection group. I mean, every so often people come tell you, and someone told you need to write for Substack, but you're like, okay, did you get anything else about the lesson or not? You know, it's like like you don't see the fruit of what the Lord is doing, and that is a difficult thing.
I know you and I have had some discussions before about how you put metrics behind a discipleship strategy.
Yeah.
And there are books and tons of stuff written about that and everything, but man, that's so very difficult because you may not see those results until years down the road, over time. And we're all, again, designed for that instant gratification. You know, I spoke at a men's event Friday night, and it's almost like you're conditioned. It's like, okay, well, how many people are going to come up to me afterwards and say they really enjoyed it? And that's how I'm going to define whether I, did what God had wanted me to do there. But that's not what it's about. It's about, does this plant seeds and help with the other seeds being planted to deepen their walk over time, which you can't go back to those guys that you spoke to 4 years from now and measure that. So it's very difficult to know if you're on the right track.
Speaking of something really quick before we continue, Lance, you have spoken at multiple different things recently.
Yeah, it's really been interesting to see what God's doing in the lives of men in and around. We had an opportunity to speak to a men's event in New Brockton. There's a group there called Wiregrass Men of Valor, and they have a great ministry where they cook steaks once a month, free. Any man that wants to come can come to the farm center and hear some worship music and a speaker. They've been doing that for 6 years, and they have 125, 150, 160 guys every week to be fed, not just with a free steak dinner, but also with the Word. And so that was very interesting, very similar down in Panama City. We had a very similar event down there Friday night where did the same thing, cooked for 100 guys, and some of them were churched, some of them were not, with the purpose of trying to get them into a small group ministry there as well. And so it's just been interesting to see what God's doing, and been very honored to have been asked.
Speaking of that, I have a confession.
Uh-oh.
Andrea asked me last Tuesday, she texted me at 1:34, would you be open to teaching in RCA Middle School Chapel this year? And I mean, I just can't tell people no forever. Like,
did you tell her yes?
what? I just said I can't tell people no forever, so
Well,
I
but
mean,
you would still tell somebody no after you said that.
yeah, but I've done that so many times. That's my point.
That's my point in saying
I
that.
can't just keep saying that. So I said, I don't know, maybe.
Okay,
And she said, how about just one to get your feet wet? We are thinking September 28th at 8:45 a.m. Topic is trusting God. And at that point, like, I really couldn't say no. So I wasn't going to tell y'all. I was just going to wait till September 27th and say,
We
hey, I
should
need
do a
to.
journey on the road.
I believe so.
No.
Journey on the road, Broxton.
we want a pocket recap of that at the very
I
least.
forgot that today.
I was just going to wait till September 27th and say, hey, I'm going to need to move the journey tomorrow.
No, okay, all right.
I don't know. I've listened to many episodes, and you are very particular about when and
You
where.
are. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
I
you.
know.
How many times have they given me a hard time?
Oh, probably every time.
Every time.
And you know what I did recently? For the journey.
Put it on your calendar.
Well, no, I've had it on my calendar.
It just hasn't
For a
been
while there, you didn't. So
Okay. It is currently on my calendar. I think it's at 9:30, not 10 for some reason, but it's there. And but our next discipleship team meeting, did you notice? I did a Wednesday. I moved the day to make sure I didn't do it during the journey time, Broxton. And now you go scheduling something on top of the journey.
we all appreciate your ministry. So
Well, we'll just bring Wyatt on that day, and you can just
He can
go do-
host.
well,
We'll let Wyatt host.
I mean, that's a month out. I can put that in my calendar.
there's a we'll just let Wyatt just sit here and talk.
So how old are the kids?
I don't know. See, that's another thing I'm worried about is that it's kids.
Yeah.
I mean, it's middle school, but still.
Oh, man.
Just don't open up with I'm so spiritually frustrated. And
Oh, we're
Go for
coming.
me.
We're coming. We're
Well,
coming.
she
What was that
said-
date?
September 28th. She said that the topic is trusting God. And then I said, all right, fine, I'll give it a shot. And then she said, you'll get a reminder, and you're also not locked into that topic. You can do anything.
I'm getting older, but I hope I can still sit crisscross applesauce. And I'll be there with the kids, and I'll have a snack, and we'll
Pink lemonade and animal crackers. It's middle schoolers, not preschoolers.
see. I didn't know. That's why I was asking how old. Okay, that's
Yeah, she said RCA Middle School Chapel.
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
So I'll walk in with that. I can never remember what movie this is from, but I'll walk in with that. Is it Rob Schneider with his hat backwards and the skateboard on his? How do you do, fellow kids?
There you go.
That's what I'll be doing. So I just felt like now would be the time to.
Man, this is good.
I bring it up now because you brought up Lance speaking a lot,
Yeah.
and because Auburn's not here.
So
I think this went over a little bit better
A little bit.
with Auburn not sitting here, because Auburn would probably be mad about how many times I've told him no about speaking in preteens.
Oh,
But
you want me to play Auburn right now?
you can.
Bro,
So good.
bro.
What do you mean? You're speaking of middle school kids.
I ask you once a month.
You told me no 47 times.
Man, we ain't doing this no more on cap. Or whatever slang
Set
you
on
use.
cap.
All right,
Okay.
so speaking of all this, you have now confirmed that you're speaking to a group of people. You've also gotten a hobby recently, and I know Wyatt had some questions about the hobby. So I'm going to let Wyatt ask those.
Yeah, so before the show, you were mentioning that you're doing. First off, who chose the name for the app? Procreate?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. We should have probably revisit that. But
Thank you. They gave me a hard time about that, but
well, when he said, I'm paraphrasing here, I found a new hobby, and it's on Procreate. Now, you didn't pause between those two words, so I was like, maybe I don't need to listen to today's episode.
I need to get better at my delivery then.
Maybe it should have been called Amateur Create.
Yeah, Amateur Create. There you go. So, no, have you enjoyed it? I hear you have more than just one or two drawings now.
Yeah, so I was talking about this with Bubba Mediocrities yesterday. He's been one of our listeners and viewers who's very far behind, and he caught up finally to the episode where I talked about drawing, and he said he was proud of me, and then I had to. This was like, I mean, we were on the comm system like seconds before the service starts yesterday, and we're having this conversation, and he said he was proud of me, and I said, well, I have to disappoint you that I haven't, made a single stroke of that pen since that episode. So,
Really?
I told him, I said, this is the problem. One of my problems with hobbies is I will find something that I enjoy, and then I will feel guilty about not, because I'll enjoy it and see the benefit of it and be like, I want to do more of this, but then life happens and I can't do more of it, and then I become frustrated with that. Like, I have not picked up a bucket golf club since we left staff retreat. And this was like, this life-changing revelation that y'all had, and y'all were thinking that my life was going to change and I was going to be so much more relaxed, and nobody's offered to buy a bucket golf set for the house. So I haven't. Chuck hasn't offered, Chuck hasn't invited me over to play, and so I'm just struggling with that.
I don't have a good answer for that.
Read your Bible and pray more.
Okay, all right.
See what it says about bucket golf.
It says nothing.
Well, I think it says, let us not discontinue joining together. So, fellowship with each other.
so would it take another journey on the road to get you to play bucket golf? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know, maybe.
We need to do another journey on the road.
But I think part of that, too, is like I had fun with y'all, but I would also just like to play around the bucket golf by myself.
Well, I was fixing to say it's not, part of my whole disc golf thing is
You need to be alone.
a disc and a basket. Yeah. Not
So
that
you'd
there's-
rather play disc golf by yourself?
No,
Sorry, Doug.
No, I have found myself playing with others much more. The more that I have played, but for the first 5 years or so, I would find time to play just me.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's part of the introvert, I think, in me. But most of the time I play now, it is with others.
So we have, go ahead.
No, I just circling back, and I'll finish this journey on the road. Next segment, we got to confirm that. Neil, we got to work out a plan for that. I saw
Well, we
Kathy.
have an invite. Yeah,
I saw Kathy the same day you saw Kathy out here at Waffle House.
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning. Yep. She was there, and we came in, I guess, after y'all left. But Falk family of 6 had a Waffle House, and
Glad we made it out before y'all got there.
I wonder what Kathy
already
thinks when
getting
she
loud.
eats Waffle House. Since she cooks everything at a very, 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 very.
Well, when I saw her when we were walking out, she just had a big old cup of coffee.
Okay.
So,
they had their food when I came in. But
I love Waffle House. But I just know how she cooks.
she was there with her family, so I wasn't going to bother her. You know, there's some people that will just come to the table and spend hours talking to you.
I know until your
So
food's
I
cold
was
and then leave.
wrong for going and speaking. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I mean, she might be offended that I didn't stay and talk, but I mean, my grandparents were there, and see, that's another thing. I was being respectful of her time, because if I had introduced her to my grandmother, then grandmother would have taken up all her time.
So I have
And
this
Saturday morning's gone.
I have this weird problem. Can I let y'all know what that
Does
weird
it have to
problem
do with
is?
shoes?
No, that's another one of my weird problems. So anytime we go to a restaurant, sit down, order, I always have to go wash my hands.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you ever eat lunch with me and notice, I am going to get up and go to the restroom at some point and wash my hands. Preferably, obviously, after I've sat down, touched the menu, ordered, and all that kind of stuff, I go and wash my hands. So Saturday at Waffle House, the way this went down is I saw her coming in, and I waved, and I went and ordered. And after I ordered, I went to the restroom, washed my hands, and I had to pass
She was
her.
over there by the restrooms.
Yeah, so I had to pass her, and then that led to a little bit further conversation with her, and met her family, and talked to her for a brief moment.
Which Waffle House?
84 by Flowers.
Flowers, yeah.
That's another thing. If you better be lucky that Auburn's not sitting here, because you know he'd be making comments about you being scared of these germs. So we'd be inserting a picture of you during the COVID, the dark times.
Go ahead, Wyatt.
Bro.
Is that why there's never? Well, I say never. I'm sure you go with Auburn sometimes to eat, right?
Yeah, I go with Auburn, but
Unlike Neil, Chase does eat.
I very much am more of a established restaurant place. I'm okay. I like the day they go to Panda, I'm in all day.
Whereas the Shepherd family loathes to eat at a chain restaurant, me and Chase are all about a chain.
I ate with Mike Bailey's Man Church group Thursday night, and I was sitting next to Lance, and I was complimenting Auburn for putting me on some really good eating spots. Maybe not what Chase would choose, but I've gotten 2 or 3 more in my rotation now because of Auburn and Aaron Johnson as well.
But the good thing about some of those places they go, they still have restrooms, so you can still wash your hands.
But we need to insert that picture of you during the COVID era, the dark times when you used to wear that construction mask every day.
Yeah, I'm yeah.
Now, are you a germaphobe?
There's germ problems.
He's got raw
Probably may
hands
have to
because of
do
all
with
that
4
hand
kids.
sanitizer.
4 kids.
Oh
will
man,
definitely go
it's bad. If I go to the pediatrician with a kid, I mean, like, I am legitimately processing through the entire experience. I walk to the door, I grab the door handle.
to. Okay.
I do not ever grab the top of a door handle because
That's where everybody grabs it.
everybody grabs it. I grab the bottom of the door handle.
I don't know why we don't implement this. There's some restaurants that have a foot grab.
Yeah.
You grab it with your foot and you pull it towards you,
So I
which
walk
causes a
in.
tripping hazard.
I walk in.
OSHA, if you're listening.
I prefer never to go to the left in our pediatrician, because if you go to the left, that's where all the sick people are.
Yep.
You go to the right, it's the well visit side.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's just a well visit, so I'm never picking up the pen that someone else has picked up to use to sign their kid in. I got my own pen in my pocket. And when I go, our kids sit in my lap. They don't sit in a chair beside me.
Collins, 13
Okay,
years old,
time
sitting
out,
in his
time
lap.
out. No, that's okay. That is that is not true. Yes, our big kids, yes, but I'm just thinking about most of the time we go to the doctor now, it's more with Will Taylor. And so Will Taylor's in my lap, not letting that joker go play the toy. Who in the world would bring and put kid toys that you touch and take the little thing and circle it and
Wipe
go
their
around?
nose and play- yes, I agree.
mean, why would you do that? They're on the wall. They're in the middle of the thing, and then we're not going to the aquarium. I mean, great, yeah, it's aquarium, but the snot slides and stuff from the aquarium.
Tic-tac-toe from
Yeah,
snot,
I'm like,
yeah.
I'm playing tic-tac. That's great. I'm like, we can look and see the fish, but we're not getting close to that. So I'm thinking through all that, getting into the room. I mean, we're sitting on the paper. I mean, we're not touching the blue pad.
Absolutely.
And when I
agree.
get home, I'm changing clothes. Those clothes are going in there. The shoes are going to be put up for a day.
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, it's bad.
I will say you're relatively healthy. So obviously something's working.
No, it just depends. But yeah, I mean, it's bad. So that's my confession of the day.
All right. So we've taken up a lot of Wyatt's discussion.
And Wyatt has notes.
And he has notes. So we've got, you wanted to talk about Sweet A coffee. You wanted to talk about, what I wanted to talk about was your claim to have driven from North Carolina to Dothan asleep, stopped to get gas also.
Three times.
And then also you've been encouraged to write a Substack. And then you had a question for Lance. So whatever direction you want to go.
The table is yours.
Yes.
All right, let me just find out where we want to start. It's going to be a minute. I have 70-something episodes I want to discuss. No, I'm a little upset nobody said, tell me a little bit about yourself, because I had an introduction written that Sarah said I probably should not say. But
Well, time out. Stop.
Not entirely true. I did ask about the Air Force.
That's
a little
true,
bit.
Yeah.
Hey, Wyatt, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself before you
Good
start?
idea, Chase.
Thank you, Chase. That's a good idea. So for those listening, I am 6'4", 250 pounds, solid muscle. I run a 4.40. I have a 330 batting average, and I played minor league for the Braves. I also have a cover band for some 80s hair bands. So, but those of you who are watching, you might want to adjust your tube just a little bit. But no, my name is Wyatt. I've been at Ridgecrest for about 40 years. Some of the time I was away with the military. I have a beautiful wife named Sarah. I have 3 kids, not so beautiful. I have 3 little boys, 16, 12, and he'll be 9 right before you speak.
Not so little.
Yeah, not so little anymore. We don't have as many pediatrician visits anymore. Now it's just rub some dirt on it and go take some Advil.
Yeah.
There you go.
You'll be all right.
So yesterday I spoke, and one of the points that I spoke about was men and women are different, and I completely agree with that. I think that God's designed us to be different, not just in a physical way, but also in an emotional way, and I praise God for that. One of the examples I used was that men or women are different, and so are male and female animals. So you have the birds. Birds are more attractive. The male birds are more attractive because they're attracting predators away, and they're trying to protect the females. And the females are camouflaged to protect the chicks. Lizards, reptiles are usually different by the
I didn't expect to get this lesson.
Yeah. Neither did I. I'm just kind of going where the spirit leads right now. And so reptiles are different colors to tell the gender, if you will. And so, but anyways, men and women, we also, we have different clothes. Adam and Eve, they started off with the skin collection. And then after the fall, they started with some furs and accessories.
This is the joke that I wanted him to tell after our connection group yesterday, because Wyatt has the great gift of teaching and bringing out little thoughts like that in a lesson that only Wyatt can do. And it really engages the audience, and obviously you can't help but laugh when you hear that, but I remember that, and
and there's a truth behind it.
And it lines up to the point. So.
Yeah, and we were speaking of Deuteronomy, and as we're going through the Bible in 3 years, we're finishing up Deuteronomy right now. And so there's many sections in Deuteronomy that doesn't apply. Well, actually, it doesn't apply to us, because we don't have, from Deuteronomy chapter 21, we don't generally have dead bodies laying around where we have to go to the closest city and say, hey, y'all come sacrifice a cow. However, it does apply to us because what it points to is that Christ was the sacrifice. Now, we call him the sacrificial lamb, but Deuteronomy said cow. The point is that there was a sacrifice for this sin. And if you continue reading on in Deuteronomy, you can see a point where it says that if you're a man dressed, and I'm paraphrasing, forgive me, but if you're a man dressed as a man, if you're a woman dressed as a woman, how does that apply to us today? Does that say that women can't wear blue jeans? No, I don't think it's saying that. But what I think it is saying to us as a post-resurrection society, a Christian society, is that we need to be different. In that culture, if I looked at you, I needed to see if you were a man or a woman, and I was going to treat you as that culture said to. But in our Christian life, in our Christian walk, the world is watching, period, dot. And I tell my boys all the time, it says it doesn't matter. I don't care how good or bad you are. You're a leader in everything you do. And so with our Christian walk, the world is watching. are we leading away or are we leading closer to? And so when I say men and women are different, yes, we are very different, but we also as Christians need to be very different from the rest of the world. So that was the point, the driving point yesterday of why I brought out an animal lesson in the middle of a class full of grown adults. So,
That's good. That's good. That's good. I like
spring and fall attire. I don't
Yeah.
know. That was just.
yeah.
How does Sarah, what's Sarah think when you say something like that?
So I love to brag about Sarah. She's just an amazing woman, a great woman of God. And the thing about having 3 boys is that I have an opportunity to teach them, and I have an opportunity with Sarah to show them who they can and should be looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And I use this term because I've heard it a lot, but a Proverbs 31 woman. And so Sarah, if you look at Proverbs 31, not that she intentionally looked at Proverbs 31 and said, how can I be this verse or this verse or this verse? But because of what God's done through her, she can do these things, whether she's realizing it or not. I see it all day, every day, that she's doing these things. But another great thing I love to brag about is we were talking about the different layout of the church a minute ago. Where Aaron Johnson's office is now, that was the 2nd grade, and that's where I met Sarah in 2nd grade, and we've been close or best friends since we were in 2nd grade. So to answer your question of how she does it, she's used to it by now. She's like, no, this is it. This is my life.
So she laughs at your jokes,
Whether they're
funny or not.
whether they're funny or not, and whether she means them wholeheartedly or just to, pacify the dad joke, she's my biggest fan, or at least I'm saying she is right now. So
That's good.
now it's the boys who are like, Dad.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's going to be normal.
All right, so I want to hear more about the Substack situation.
So when I learned this from Lance when I was able to help him as, would you say I was a producer for the radio show at the time?
We had a moment.
We had a moment. We had a couple of seasons where I would answer the phone and it would be AM 560 The Ball. How can I help you? I want to talk to Lance. Okay, what's your name? So that's what I did. I passed it to him, and so
Is that how that works?
Yeah, very much so. I had a before
That's how
I
you
even
break
had
into the industry,
yeah,
Chase.
before I had my daily show. We had a high school show that aired every Saturday, and Wyatt was my producer there for a good bit.
So still to this day, someone calls, if they call the show, your producer answers the phone and then he writes it on a note and passes it to you?
Yeah, whatever avenue it's been different things. It was an Etch-a-Sketch for a little while. It's been a whiteboard before. It's been a Post-it note. But whatever I can look across and see the guy's name, that's how it's done. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Could you imagine if we ever do the journey live and we take calls?
Yeah, it'd be like this right now.
Hit that cricket
Silent.
button.
It'd be interesting to see if anybody actually called. But yeah.
So we interrupted you. You're
Yeah.
in mid-thought.
I kind of lost where I was going there.
You
so.
your
ask about
Substack
Substack.
started.
Substack. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, producer.
So what I learned from Lance is that I look over there and I notice that he is reading almost word for word what he was going to say on the show. And it's like, I encourage my kids. And it was almost word for word. So I was like, well, that seems a little quirky, but it works for him and his show. I don't know how every radio show works. Then when I went into youth ministry and I wanted to be a youth minister, oftentimes I would say something, I'd have an outline. And I remember one time where I went way off my outline. And I was like, this is not inappropriate, but probably not the best sentence to be saying right now. And so since that day, I've write my lessons word for word for word. And so when I went to go talk the other day, a couple of people were like, this is pretty good. You should write for Substack, or you should write for this. And so I don't know if I will, but if I do put it on Substack, know that that's exactly what I said in the Sunday school lesson.
Yeah.
Connection group.
And to this day.
We should come up with a name for a Substack right here on the show.
Oh, hey.
Okay. All right.
The
I'm all
skin
ears.
collection.
First caller.
Wait, what'd you say?
It's just that, and to this day, I manuscript my sermons
Yeah.
for that reason, not because stay on point, Lance, is basically what I'm telling myself when I go up there.
But the
Yeah.
great thing about that is you do have a document that is clearly written could be published in some sort of way, whether it be on your own stuff or some sort of thing, whereas like my manuscript, not so much. Like
Yeah.
it wouldn't.
But it works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were on the radio manuscripting?
No, and I may have manuscripted an intro, like if if there was something that I wanted to say specifically for where I wanted the conversation to go, I may have manuscripted that. But no, I mean, as a general rule, I don't manuscript a show. You can't really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that if I remember the high school highlights and the college day pregame, Lance was really good at that. But then to Lance's credit, when a caller come in, it's like, hey, I want to talk about Dothan High when it was the Tigers, he would know almost everyone. And the conversation between you and Tom would sometimes be like, I can just sit here and
you got to be on your
just
toes.
listen all day.
You got to be on your toes. You never know where that's going to go.
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm thinking about this now that I'm going to, have to get up in front of people on September 28th. Am I going to manuscript it or not? I don't know.
You can do whatever works for you. You just can't make it appear that you're standing up there and reading from a manuscript.
Yeah. When Joe preached, not yesterday but last week, he had a manuscript.
Yeah.
And it was almost, he deviated a couple times.
Yeah.
But it was pretty good because we knew exactly when a point was coming, when a scripture was coming to put on the screen. It was perfect.
Yeah.
So I got down there yesterday and Steve said, I don't suppose Aaron has a manuscript for you. And I said, no, that's never going to happen again.
Yeah.
Well, we think you should do it. We think you should go for it.
We'll see. We'll see what happens between wife and kids and my own personal hobbies. I'll see if I can squeeze something else in there.
Well,
that's the key. That's the thing.
See, that leads into what you said to me pre-show. We were talking about Substack. You said that it is an underdeveloped hobby for me, and I don't have time for it.
Yeah. Well, I understand that, but
I want to.
I think I don't know how it works for y'all, but no, like Chase was saying, there's no way that he could devote as much time as he would prefer to a hobby. But also think that if there's something that you're really passionate about, you'll find some time for it, which that's what surprises me a little bit about you in writing, because I figured that you would find some time to do that. Of course, like I said, here I am, and I've written 2 things in the past 2 months.
Yeah, I think that, for you have a lesson from yesterday that you could post in a Substack form, So it's I think you are writing something to some degree.
All the time, pretty much. Yeah.
I mean, you're journaling something if you're spending time with the Lord, you always got to journal. You're journaling something. And so I think it would be, how do you take what you're kind of already doing and utilize that within the writing Substack world versus trying to recreate something else? Because I think that's what I've seen, even in lesson prep or teaching or anything like that. If I have an opportunity to teach, a lot of times the depth of what I'm teaching comes out of, what I'm already doing. I'm not going to, ever so often, or somebody asks me to do something and I have to come up with something different as far as they'll want you to teach on a certain topic. Well, obviously that can be unique, but outside of that, Auburn asked me, because he's wherever he is, not here, Wyatt, which means you're here. But, the rest of the time, he gives me a hard time for not being here. But, yeah, he's not here today. He asked me to speak tomorrow to a high school band devotion type thing. Well, I'm going to go share something that I read recently and felt like the Lord showed me in Psalm 8 that I journaled some notes on. Those are things that I could write. I don't know if that makes sense or not. Yeah. But write what you're already writing and not feel the pressure to come up with something new. There wouldn't be and I think that's the thing with Substack social media in general. It's it's all about the next post or whatever Substack calls it. It's all about the next, what do they call it? Note?
There's post or notes.
Whatever. It's all about the next thing. And it's in your head, you always got to have something new. But in a lot of ways, you're writing, Lance, you're writing. There's things we're doing, and just utilize what we're already doing.
Well, I agree with all that. And, even in my quiet time lately, if I'm, I've kind of noticed that if I'm doing, earlier we talked about the checklist thing, and I'm kind of at a place right now where I've realized that I've tried a bunch of different quiet time checklist, for lack of a better term, and I think the thing that I get the most out of, and I feel in communion with the Lord the most actually is when I'm doing some form of reading a passage, and even if it's not like the strict here method, like I'm engaging with it of like, here's a passage that stood out to me. I explain what it says. Here's how I can apply it in my life. And then like, here's a response. And I've noticed that like there are natural things for Substack that come out of that. And I used to post those more regularly. But then I've also like, you know, you said in your sermon a few weeks ago, Chase, to like be careful about like when you feel like you've got a word from God to not automatically just share that. It might not be for everybody. And so like, I'm sorry, it's just the way my mind works. I'm like, should I not be doing that? Like, is this an instance of, I told y'all a few episodes ago, my mind is not a place that you want to be. Heart. And that's right before Chase ate an ant. But like, I'm serious. Like, is it, in my mind, I go through, is this just for me? Or is it for me, but also God's given me this passion to communicate, whether it's through podcasting or writing, and this is something he's given me to also share with others? Or is it, I don't need to do that? And I talked to Brother Ray about this a few years ago because I was kind of asking his process for, you know, for example, right now he'll be back from sabbatical this week, and I'm sure he's going to come in and say, you know, I got 47 different sermon series ideas, and he knows he'll never get to all of them, but he spends time with the Lord and he journals, and it just sits in his journal. And I was kind of asking him, like, how do you know when it's time to go from the journal to like, this is a thing that my people need to hear? And so I'm kind of in that same ball game, because my flesh is like, oh, I got this today. It's kind of a rough draft that's in my journal. I can write it, edit it, and then post it. But then I start overthinking, like, should I be doing that? Should I not be doing that? And it's just a cycle.
I don't think there's a tried and true answer for that. That has to be something that you're comfortable with. But I think if you get something that you can certainly see has a broad implications for the body and that others could benefit, you know, I would lean towards saying that is something that could build other people up. But again, maybe you get a strong indication from the Lord. Nope. Because sometimes he does that. Like, either no, that's just for you, or no, that's just for you right now. And then maybe he gives you freedom later. But I don't know that any of us can answer that one for you.
All right, I'll write that down.
Yeah.
So you had a question before we started about when Lance was the editor.
Oh, yes. How much time do we have left? 'Cause I know you want to hear the story.
I mean, we got at least 15 minutes or so.
Okay. My
Yeah,
question.
we're the one, we're taking up your time.
That's
so.
true.
I took the day off. I'm getting
Okay.
paid either way. No, so we know you were the editor for the Dothan Eagle, and you were for 20 years?
No, I was only the editor for 2.
Okay.
2.5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
enough
All
of
right.
that.
But you worked there for several years.
I worked there from 1996 to 2019.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So of your time in a week, how much did you write? Was it always just one story, or was it a story every day?
As the editor?
Well, either as the editor or as somebody who contributed.
As a writer, that's all you did. You wrote. And we had a saying at the paper, kind of not a positive saying, it was called Feed the Beast, which meant you really would like to take more time with your stories and develop them, get multiple sources, make them deeper, provide more context, but you can't go to your editor and say, I'd like to have 3 days to work on this story, with very rare exceptions. So what you ended up having to do is try to crank out as many stories as you could. So we wrote, there were some days I wrote 4 or 5 stories. There were some days I wrote 1. But you wrote and you wrote and you wrote. When I was offered the editor position, I didn't want it because I told my publisher when he offered it, I said, I'm a writer. I'm not an editor. I want to write. He said, invent whatever editor role you want. You can be a writing editor if you want. You can be an editor. You can do whatever you want to. Have freedom to do what you want to do with the job. And so I wrote almost as much as an editor as I did as a writer because that's what I enjoyed doing. But multiple stories a day. You would get the rare occasion where you got something that you were like, oh, this is special. And if you got that, then you would try to fight for time to work on it and develop it and take some time to do it. But those were rare.
I think that kind of answers your question about when and where to write. He just wrote. Just wrote. And so I don't know if I was to take something away from this, it would be, and like for myself, I enjoy drawing, just draw and draw and draw.
On Procreate?
No, on paper. It's an invention back from trees. Yeah, I use a pencil from time to time too.
Never heard of such.
No, it's old. Anyways, but yeah, just for myself, just draw and draw and draw, and something will eventually flesh out. I had a drawing that I tinkered with and drew for several years, and it wasn't until recently that I just finished it. And so just read your Bible and pray more, but also just continue to contribute to it, whether it be for you or for somebody else. And eventually, like you said, when you find that one special thing, that's when the Lord will say, okay, you can release this.
Yeah.
But it's also, I think the struggle specifically towards the Substack world or social media world is, again, going back to the results.
Yeah.
You know, it's like how many likes, how many comments. Like if that's what's in your head, then it's so easy to be driven in so many ways that you don't need to be driven. And
That's
so
right.
like in this setting, to me, I love the just right. Like just right, not worried about who even almost turn that stuff off and don't even look at that stuff. Just write for the sake of writing because it's something you enjoy doing. And if it's impactful to somebody, great. If it's not, then that's okay too.
That's a very good point because I said earlier I'd only written a couple of things in the last couple of months, and that results-oriented part of me is like, okay, if I don't churn something out every week, my subscribers are not going to be paying any attention anymore. So I just need to get something out for the sake of getting something out because my email opens are going to go down because of that. And that's the totally wrong way of looking at it. And then whatever you feel like you need to write, you write, whether that's 2 times a week or once every 3 weeks or whatever it is. So that's good.
This right here is it's worthy of its own podcast with people that are interested, because that's part of the problem is like, if I'm just writing because like I enjoy writing and it's like it's a hobby, just to have something to do, then I think that's different than I feel called to do this. Mm-hmm. Because I think if I feel called to do this, then there's an element of like responsibility. And if I'm called to do it, then I need to do it well. And whether you like it or not, doing it well is going to require some of the involvement and growth and metrics and stuff. And whether you like it or not, that means you have to participate in the mechanisms for that. Like just on Substack, for example, like Substack can talk all they want to about how they're not social media and like all the problems with Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and TikTok. But
that's just what they are.
Substack is social media. And so you can grow, if you're going to write a blog and a newsletter, you can put all your energy into, I just want, if you read this today and you found it helpful and encouraging, then share it with somebody else. That's going to take you a lot longer than if you start participating in the notes platform and start doing that, because then their algorithm is going to push you out to other people, and it'll be people that are interested in what you have to say, but like you're going to get caught up in that. And so it's a dangerous thing.
You're feeding the beast.
Feeding the beast. You've got to feed the beast if you want to be successful. And so a lot of this is why I just don't do it, because I was talking to Kayla about something yesterday after church. Like, one of the leadership lessons I'm having to learn right now is like, and y'all can see this with my spiritual life, is I need a checklist or a blueprint or whatever. And so a lot of times if I know that there's something I need to do leadership wise, I won't do it until I feel like I have a perfect, not even perfect, but like just a checklist or a plan or something that I think is going to work and I'm going to be able to sustain. And sometimes you need that, but sometimes you just need to say, no, like, this is what we're going to do and this is how we're going to do it. And when it comes to my writing and podcasting, I don't do it because I know that I can't sustain it to where it needs to be sustained.
But I think also there's nothing wrong with being influential in whatever circle that God has decided that you're going to be influential in. And it may be that you're just influential in the people that know you. And that's okay. That's okay. And I think your voice is important to be out there regardless of what the circle ends up being. So I would just encourage you. And you too, Wyatt, for that matter.
All right, fine. I'll carve out some time this week after I finish the new sermon bumper, and I'll schedule a bunch of Substack drafts.
I'll just upload my lesson from yesterday.
Okay.
There you go.
That'd be good.
Start where you are.
Chase, you've got something pulled up there.
Yeah, this was just
Substack notes.
No, this is actually episode 74, last week's episode. I was looking at the comment section, seeing
Not a lot of engagement.
doesn't matter. It's okay.
I know that, but I just
I do say, and Wyatt, we're going to turn it back to you so you can
you got to tell the
go
story.
whatever direction. But I will say, to what we just talked about, I think one of the beneficial things of this podcast, for us at least, has been we don't come in and say, hey, last episode we had X number of views, X number of comments. We don't, and then we talked about that from the very beginning. Like, we have moved to the video, which has been great. Neil does such a great job with all this, and I think it's been has enhanced the podcast. But it's like, again, we're not caught up in the result, I guess. And like, I think that's a beneficial thing in regards to being careful about, how we get caught up in what we're doing is not necessarily about the results. Just leave those up to the Lord and just sit down and enjoy what he's leading us to do. So this podcast has been helpful for that for me, because in the past, whether it be the vlog or other videos that we've done, it was always like, oh, how many people are watching, how many people shared it, all this kind of stuff. Obviously that helps the podcast world, but at the end of the day, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't,
When it's something that pops in my mind when you say this is, if we were worried about the views, would Isaac have been offered on the altar? Would Noah have built the boat? And I know Noah probably would not have built the boat if he was worried about the views. Here it is, an old man out in the middle of nowhere building from wood that doesn't grow in that area.
Yeah.
So he's just doing it for the
Never seen a boat
Lord.
before. Yeah. What's this guy doing out here?
Yeah.
All right. So
I think let's do this, if you're okay with it. I have something to give Wyatt that he can add to the story if he wants to, but this is a K-Cup from Sweet A Coffee.
Okay.
So Wyatt brought up a little bit of an idea about Sweet A Coffee back when we talked about Sweet A Coffee in an episode, but this is my favorite. It's called Goat Tracks, Wyatt. So that's for you to take home, or you can, on your way out, we can go to Sweet A and actually brew it for you if you want.
I think we'll do that.
I like this idea. Neil, you need to bring a camera, and we need to go up to Sweet A. A very brief journey on the road segment.
Experience. So that's for you,
Real,
Sweet
you
A.
might say.
Yeah.
And last thing you want to, the last thing I'm going to add here is if you want to tell the Sweet A, and then from there go wherever else.
All right. So I cannot not tell Sweet A. I think we've whet the appetite of the listeners enough.
Absolutely.
So like, what is Wyatt talking about? So probably the first 20 episodes or so, you had whoever was on air, they were like, oh man, this is some good coffee. And like, oh, well, where'd you get it from? Oh, I got it from Sweet A. And so for, 20 episodes, I continue to hear this rave of Sweet A coffee. Now, Sarah enjoys coffee, and we were going to a local coffee shop. And so I'm like, I want to branch out. Now, for me, when I go on any trip, I branch out and go to the local restaurant. I try to find somewhere that's off the beaten path, not chain restaurants.
Sounds like
and
Auburn.
So I'm like, I need to find this Sweet A place. I'm looking it up, and I'm looking it up. I can't find it. And I talked to Chase. I'm like, what is this Sweet A? And Chase finally told me It is sweet. Correct my spelling. S-U-I-T-E.
Correct.
Not S-W-E-E-T.
Correct.
Now I'm like, of course that explains why I can't find sweet A, but I'm like, that also explains why it's not sweet a word. I'm like, I cannot believe that on this church podcast, we have several ministers who are like, hey, let's go to Sweet A Coffee. And I'm like, first, where's Sweet A? B, are they really saying this? And so anyways, that's where Sweet A, Sweet B came from. And I learned there's, 3 sweets that y'all were kind of in a rotation
Sweet
of getting.
C.
Yeah,
And I happen to be in none of them.
Oh,
He's
okay.
in Sweet G.
Sweet G for Jim. I like it.
So anyway, that's for you. We'll go brew it on the way.
I do like that.
Do you put anything in goat tracks?
No,
just black?
Just black.
Just
yeah.
black. All right.
So
How do you drink your coffee, Wyatt?
So we were talking earlier. I get Pastor's Choice on Sunday, and I do 3 sugars and 3 creamers.
For a full cup.
Yeah, for that size cup.
I
12
did
ounces.
I did not expect that from a military man.
Oh, you expect just black?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you have to understand. So there's this cartoon movie where this character is a squirrel, and he is very hyperactive. And so for about 4 or 5 years, the military called me Hammy after this squirrel because I would bounce off the wall, and I just went straight for the sugar-full coffee, which if you were in my class yesterday, tomorrow will be the 105th day of my first day of sugarless.
Really?
Yeah, I can't keep this New Year's resolution. So I'm going to start over again tomorrow.
So speaking of coffee, you have a story to tell that I don't know if coffee was involved, but I mean,
You can't drink coffee when you're asleep.
Well, but
Much like you can't drive when you're asleep.
Oh, yes. Yes, you can. So coffee would not have been involved. I was not man enough at that time. I was drinking energy drinks. And for the military members out there, y'all remember Rippets? Rippets, they're at Family Dollar, so they're for about $1. But Rippets was an energy drink, and I didn't have any this time. So the story is, and this is just God taking care of me. Not that the story is about me. It's more about what God had done. So I was stationed at Pope, North Carolina, and the route that I could take is either through Atlanta and be with traffic, and I would leave North Carolina at night because it was cooler and there was less traffic. But through Atlanta, there's still traffic no matter what. So I said, I've got to figure out a different way to get there. And I like scenic routes. And so I said, I'll take I-95 down the east side of Georgia, and I'll hit, I believe it's Midway, Georgia, which is also the midway point.
North of Savannah.
And I would turn, I'd turn towards Alabama on 84. And so that would be my route. That was a 10-hour drive. And so for this instance, I remember leaving Pope, Fort Bragg, North Carolina, getting on I-95, and I don't remember anything at all of this drive until I woke up on 84, about close to the courthouse in Dothan, and that's a roughly 9 to 10 hours where I do not remember it. And many people say, oh, well, you had to stop, because with my Ford Explorer, I had to stop 3 times to get a full tank. And so they're, no, you had to stop. I don't remember. I just remember waking up. I was like, oh, I was fully rested when I got there. So the next morning I was ready to party.
Hey,
speaking of mystical,
I mean,
I don't doubt the man.
Now,
this happened more than once?
Only once.
Oh, only
once. I believe the next couple of times I was like, I'm going to pull over. So, which I did pull over one time. So I would drive, and probably about 3 hours is how far I could get on that tank of gas. I pulled over, and before I got back on the highway, I just pulled over onto the shoulder, and I took a nap, and a police officer came and knocked on the window, and I'm freaking out. I was like, oh, no. I'm in the back seat asleep, and so I'm trying to struggle. I'm sure he thought I was about to jump out and attack him, but I was trying to climb over the seats and trying to get to the front door. I couldn't get to the front door, and I saw him kind of back up. I was like, let me move a little slower.
So he told this story to y'all, though?
Multiple times.
And every time I say it, Auburn and Broxton both were like, no, there's no way.
And James said,
yes.
I'm going to call you a liar.
Well, we know what he likes to do, so.
It's pretty good.
All right.
So okay, give us your best Auburn impersonation of how he would respond to the story.
Bro, ain't no way. ain't no way that you drove. You're telling, ain't no way.
That's cap.
That is
on cap.
On cap. Like that ain't no way. Ain't no way. You mean to tell me you drove 10 hours? No. I'm going to call you out. You're a liar, what?
Pretty good.
All good.
All good. So if we have time, I do have one question for us.
We got time.
Okay. So I believe a name says a lot. My name, when it's translated, it translates to war lion based on which name dictionary you pick. And so my children, we chose their names very specifically on what their name would mean. And so they can look at their name and say, okay, I am the lion that protects. I am the lion that sings. I am the lion that loves dogs. And so I might be wrong on the last one, but I barely get them right at home. So, but they all mean something specifically. And so we were like, we want you to have these names so that when you grow up, you can look at your name, know where you came from, know whose you are. And so Sarah, her name means the princess of lions. Sarah translates to princess. So when I was reading the transcripts for these podcasts, your name does not come out as Broxton. Would you like to take a guess as to what it comes out as?
Don't say Braxton.
I don't think I have a choice.
You want to take a guess?
Yeah.
I would say Braxton. I'm with Lance.
No B in there at all. So multiple
rock star.
Close. Roxton. Or Roxanne. All right, so I was going back trying to figure out, there was something that I wanted to see, and so I went back, and that's where I found it was Roxton or Roxanne. So my question for you guys, what name of God means the most to you? For me, it's Jehovah Jireh, or the Lord will provide. What are some of your favorite nicknames for people, or that people call you? And what is your name that you relate to the most with the Lord?
Ooh, man, there's a lot.
I mean, you can take the serious route or the not so serious route.
I'm having to remember what all the names of God mean for my 10th grade Bible lesson.
That's true. I don't remember what.
I know Jehovah Jireh is the Lord will provide.
I don't remember the Hebrew name for Redeemer, but
Jehovah Rapha is the Lord who heals. Jehovah Nisi is the Lord is my banner.
Well, look at all these phones out here.
Yeah, let me just...
What's going on?
Yeah, we got Nisi, Raha. I'm not even going to pronounce these. Just Google it.
But
I'm going to go with Jehovah Jireh. The Lord will provide.
Whatever.
What did you say, Lance? You were asking
whatever
about?
the Lord who redeems would be mine, just because of all of our lost conditions. And there's no hope outside of He redeeming us. So I don't know if that's in the list or not, but that's what I would pick. Now, as far as I know, I've only ever had one nickname.
Okay.
And it only stuck for a few years.
Well, when you were the editor, it was probably Feed the Beast.
When
The Beast.
In high school, I was this tremendous Larry Bird fan. So much so, it's not like the days of Amazon now where you can just go out and get whatever you want and it's there the next day. So you actually had to seek out a Larry Bird jersey. And so we had a basketball camp my sophomore year of high school, and I wore a Bird jersey one day. And so I was Bird for most of high school. So I wear that with honor because I don't think that had anything to do with my basketball game really, but I'll take it.
Did you have a nickname, Broxton? Roxanne?
Yeah, I mean, people have called me Roxanne before.
Really?
Because it sounds, I mean, if you're not listening, and I know I mumble sometimes, so.
All right, Roxanne. Didn't realize that. Never looked at the transcripts either.
Yeah.
So
We need to plug all the transcripts into AI and see what comes out.
Well, I believe it says there's AI generated. Most of it is accurate, but when it came to the names, I'm like, who is Roxanne? Oh.
So for me, in high school, I actually was called Chaz with a Z on the end. And I don't know where that came from. But
There was an actor that was kind of popular about that time. His name was Chaz Palminteri, but he was not like a superstar.
Yeah, I don't know, but I got called that like all of high school by a lot of my close friends. So that was that. My granddad used to call me Buck. So, yeah, shout out, Pa. And then when you said names of God, I thought about Exodus 3, where Moses is like questioning, like, what do I do if they say, who told you this, or who are you? Who's this person you're talking about? And he just, in verse 14, he says, God said to Moses, I am who I am. This is what you're to say to the Israelites. I am has sent me. And I think that's the Yahweh translation. possibly, but it just like, to me, that name of just the constant, like, I'm just who I am. I am who I am. And there's not a whole lot more that need to be added to that. Like, I can be trusted. I am the one that's telling you these things. I am in control. I am the one that created all, So I think that kind of sums up a lot of the names of God just in that like thought process. But that's what came to my mind initially when you asked that.
That's good.
All right, Wyatt, that was a good episode.
I loved it. I got many more questions, so I'll come back.
We'll have to have you back.
We'll have you come back, and you'll have more questions by the time you come back because you take notes on the episodes. And
I look forward on Thursday. So if y'all are ever late, my day's just ruined. By the way, Sarah's not listening, but a quick question is rent a word? R-U-R-N-T. And if you say no, you're wrong.
I was going to say, it is in the South.
I'm not one to ask questions like that, too. I look to my editor over here.
Yeah, he's the editor. We'll just take his
Probably
word for
couldn't
it.
get away with putting it in a story.
Oh, absolutely. I do it all the time.
So there's your subtitle stack, or your subtitle title.
Not rent.
Substack title. What am I trying to say?
All right.
Really quick comment. We gave away a binder in the comment section.
There it is on the floor.
On the floor. So Grant, shout out to Grant, commented in last week's episode a day ago. He said he loved the episode, and he commented binder. Only one there. So there you go, Grant. You have Grant Samara. Let me rephrase that there because we have two Grants in the comment section. Grant Baker also enjoyed the conversation and thought it was interesting how we talked about student ministry and kind of people starting there. And then, this is not the Journey podcast.
Wow. What is it?
Ryan Clark breaks silence on firing from ESPN. So that was the next thing on the list here on my. And then Miss Tammy, shout out to Miss Tammy again, loyal listener, comment and says she's one of the button pushers in the basement. She's noticed how passionate you are about your area of ministry and the amount of excellence you desire from the team. Thank you guys for your great work at the church. Thanks, Miss Tammy. Wow.
That was almost a standing ovation. I could hear it.
I mean, that is because
Studio
Wyatt
audience.
Lewis has been on the show
That's
today.
right.
He joins the cast of Journey veterans now. Wyatt, Grant, Baker, that is, Amy, Andrea, Kurt.
Mark.
Both
Mark.
Aarons, or two of the three Aarons. You need Aaron Ashworth.
We do need Aaron Ashworth.
Speaking of Aaron, I walked in the church early this morning, and Aaron and his team were doing their devotional up in the Welcome Center, and I sat down and enjoyed the devotional, and Aaron was leading it. Did a great job. So, yeah, we need to have him on.
Yeah, we really need to have Aaron and Brother Robert and Brother Dave on.
Yes,
Yep.
we do.
Yeah. So and Dougie Fresh has been on.
Oh, yeah. Lance Whitehurst.
Yep.
One of the OG guests, Mitch.
Mitch.
And this reminds me, I almost forgot.
Uh-oh.
What 3 guests should we have on the show? You just mentioned,
So I think Aaron Ashworth,
so you got 2 more.
I know Aaron from a long time ago, and I'd say that the Lord's really worked in his life. So he would be a great person to hear from. I think Neil would be a good person to come in and tell his experience of podcasts
I
and how he
endorse
got here. And then let's see, a third one. Now, does it have to be local or far away? What kind of a genre are y'all looking for?
Well,
Shoot big.
You know, last week we told Grant, like, you can say somebody that we have no chance of getting on, and that's fun for content, but I would like somebody that we have a chance of getting on.
All right, yeah, so not getting on, Michael Jr., if y'all are familiar with the comedian. Love his story. So, but let's go a little bit more local. I'd say Wyatt Lewis.
Never heard of him.
Okay. Well, I'll be sure to introduce. I'm sorry you put me on the spot there. So, yeah, Aaron, Neil, and I'll be happy to come back.
Okay. All right. Well.
So, to Sweet A Coffee.
Yeah,
Sweet A Coffee.
To Sweet A Coffee. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week.